Hello folks, I greet you. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Welcome one and all to another program in the series Homo Politicus, reaching you from Enterprise TV. And today we look at this one, Autonomy for Local Governments. Federal government races to Supreme Court for remedy. Now, a precursor of this national event was perhaps the one recorded on May 20 in the year 2020, when former President Muhammadu Buhari signed an executive order to grant financial autonomy to the judiciary, legislature, and local governments in the country. Of course, the Apex Court nullified Executive Order number 10 on the premise that the number one citizen overstepped his powers promulgating such a rule. But alas, like an old idea whose time has come, the federal government, through the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has approached the Supreme Court again by filing a lawsuit against the 36 states of the Federation over misconduct in the administration of local government areas. So the coming days should be very interesting ones for all of us. We are likely to have either a binding legal interpretation or an exercise in unusual scholarship. Shall we have a conversation, please? My discussant this morning is the man you are very familiar with. I'm talking about the personable Emeka Madunagu, journalist and a political commentator. Emeka, I greet you one more time.
Good day, citizen, yes.
Good. So, Emeka, autonomy for local governments, federal government races to Supreme Court for remedy. We were there before.
It's only expected in a democracy that the three arms of government must work in tandem with the Constitution.
In this case, to be allowed to exercise their independence.
Yes. But there's the lacuna is Section 20, which has been abused serially by states, that they shall have oversight of local governments. And so states governments have assumed that gives them the power to emasculate administration at the local government level and to run the local governments like their personal estate. So,
but would you think that's what the framers of the Constitution were thinking of?
No. It was, for the fact that, you see, for development to cascade from the federal to the local government, from the federal to the state and local government, there needed to be some sort of coordination between the state and the local government, so that there will be even distribution of amenities, of opportunities, and all of that. But what we find today is that the biggest poverty in Nigeria, resides at the local government level. Rural poverty is so high, there is hardly any development at local government level. As a matter of fact, states have actually assumed the functions of the local governments. And one governor was said to have was accused of collecting 265 billion naira local government funds, and nothing was said to have been done in that respect.
But do you think an action like that is a justiciable one?
It is. That is what the federal government has tried to do. Under Obasanjo, the administration of Olusegun Obasanjo went to the Supreme Court to withhold local government funds due to Lagos and Akwa Ibom states. For
Lagos 16 months, Akwa Ibom 20 months.
Yes. So for reasons of abuse, alleged abuse of the Constitution. But when Yaradua came on board, his successor, he just simply gave them the funds without looking into the raison d'etre for the withholding of the funds. And of course, the matter got to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that the LCDAs created by Lagos State were inchoate, that effort should be made to get them
development,
local council development areas,
yeah,
that they were inchoate. In other words, they had fund, but nobody so that they should be listed in their effort should be made for the National Assembly to list them in the Constitution. But since then, this has not been achieved. And you then wonder why all the noise, all the haste to create those LCDs in Lagos State, when, as it now appears, there wasn't any sincerity to make them accountable, cost centers in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Emeka, in addition to what we have enumerated, so many governors have not held local government elections, and this is against the spirit and letter of the Constitution.
Yes, 17 states out of 36 states just have been running with caretakers. Anambra State since 2007. There are a number of states, for even longer. And what do you find? You find that the local governments are just there. All they do is just, in many places, it is said that all they do is just appear at the end of the month to collect salaries, to collect allocation for salaries, and then share and go away. So you just find out that the local governments don't really engage in projects. And these are the things that the state governors boast about. That they did roads, they did bridges, they built markets. A lot of these things are the functions of local government. That's why you see that at the local level, the number of taxes and levies are more than those of the states and the federal government. Why? Because it's believed that the highest level of activity in the nation takes place at the grassroots. Takes place at the local government level. So it is expected that the funds accruing to local government should be given to them independently. That is the intendment of this suit.
Because the funds are there.
The funds are there. Of course, the funds are
they are appropriated
according to what the Supreme Court ruled.
In
the case instituted by then Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, the late Chief Bola Ige. Where the Supreme Court said that all funds generated by the nation should be paid into the Federation account. That landmark judgment has not been reversed. So what it means is that when it is paid, it should be shared according to prescribed financial
and there's a percentage for
there
sharing.
Are percentages, yes. But you just find out that the states that get a little above 20%, they also corner, I think there was 17% that ought to go to the local governments. They corner them, and the governors sit on these funds, hiding under an amorphous contraption called state joint local government accounts.
Sometimes, Emeka, I'm wondering if you are as scandalized as I am when we claim to be practicing a presidential system, whereas in the United States of America, they have counties which are the equivalent of the local government areas. We're not giving vent to them here.
In 2001, I actually traveled to the United States, and I actually met with a county chairman, a lady who was not earning salaries. She had no official car. She just had an office, and
but she had a function.
She was functioning.
Okay.
She was functioning. A city of about 80,000
residents.
She was functioning very well, and I asked her, because I interviewed her, and I asked her how she was coping. She was coping, and she said, well, that the rules allow the chairman, the head of the county, to keep funds, remaining funds from campaigns, your campaign fundraisers, you are allowed to spend them, to use that as, to keep body and soul together.
That's so, and head above water.
There is no salary, no official car, nothing. In fact, we just finished our interview. We finished our interview just before lunchtime, and I walked with her to the car park. She said she was waiting for her husband to come and pick her. That her husband was working in an oil company. That the place is in Texas. That was working in an oil company. So he was basically the one running the home, because there was more money accruing to him. So, and I now wondered why, if we have such systems, if we have such a system in place, we'll have more development. Because you find out that at that time, there was the issue of water supply in that area. And of course, the council swung into action in terms of water. And that council, you know the interesting thing, this is a council that has a small airport. A council that has a university. A big university. You know, that has hotels.
That's
and businesses.
The county in the US you are talking about.
That is it. Businesses, a big university, an airport, a small airport.
Yeah.
And
Emeka, in trying to take this home, therefore, when in 2020, as I said in my opener, former President Muhammadu Buhari issued Executive Order number 10.
No, it was unconstitutional. He had no powers to do that.
Okay.
He had no powers to do that because, you see, that amounted to interference that the federal government cannot dictate to states. As a matter of fact, the president is regarded as primus inter pares, first among equals, among the government, because the states are subnationals. They are federating units. So it is not such that, the president can summon a governor. Although you see that happening, but you see it is because those who are supposed to implement the laws prefer to do so in the breach for pecuniary benefits.
Than in the observance.
Yes.
Okay.
That is why, for instance, you will see a place like Kano. The federal government will deploy soldiers, which is an unconstitutional act, for just the position of an emir. An emir who, by the way, is supposed to report to a local government chairman. All these traditional rulers you see moving about with Rolls Royce and flamboyant convoys, they are actually supposed to be subservient to local government chairman.
That's a discussion for another day, but let's run this on quickly.
What I'm looking at is for you to know how important, for our viewers to appreciate, how important the local government system is.
That's it. Okay then. Now the federal government has approached the apex court.
Yes, which is what President Muhammadu Buhari ought to have done. By approaching the apex court. That, okay, the allocations to local government should be paid directly. Because the states, at every constitutional review, since the return of democracy in 1999, the states governors have frustrated attempts to make the local governments to be financially independent. They are frustrated attempts.
Our problems with our democracy, our type of democracy, are man-made.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And can be redressed.
They can be, they themselves, they know. They know they can be redressed. Because the sad thing is that Abuja continues to put itself as the be-all and end-all of things in Nigeria. And I keep criticizing, I've been a critic of that system. That system since 1999. I said it is very wrong for Abuja, for the federal government to decide where primary schools will be, for the federal government to interfere in the building of health centers and all that. It is wrong.
I cannot forget in a hurry that in your state, during the Obasanjo years, Abuja, Abuja was responsible for your state being captured, in a manner of speaking, by the police.
Yeah, which was
it was a breach.
Which was unfortunate. It was just a breach. All of these things. So, if you look at the poverty in Nigeria today, there you see the prices of food items are expensive and all of this. Let me tell you, it is simply because of the kleptocracy of state governors. It is simply because local governments are not working. It is not the job of the federal government. And it is not the job of the federal government to regulate food prices.
Yes, and we hardly punish wrongdoers in this country.
You see, we must, some of these people also act in ignorance, willful ignorance. It is not the job of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to decide the cost of a bag of rice, or a bag of garri, or pepper and all that. Because why? You see, the local governments, part of their duty, is galvanize development at the local level. You don't have federal farmers. It's a misnomer to say you have federal roads, federal bridges, federal, all manner of federal. These things are actually municipal issues.
Okay, let's bury this now. don't you see the coming days as being very interesting ones for us regarding the matter on the floor?
You see, let me tell you something. I have said it again and again. You see President Bola Tinubu's handlers just get engaged in insulting everybody, reply to everybody. Instead of dealing with the issues. Now listen, poverty in Nigeria is not a federal problem. The president made available billions to states and local governments to provide palliatives. Where are the palliatives? Is it the president that's supposed to go and be distributing rice? But you see, the problem is that the media handlers, instead of dealing with the issues as they are, they just engage in, copious waste of time.
Biting up more than chew.
It's very simple. I support this suit.
Okay.
I support it. Because we cannot continue with this situation where so many people are migrating from the rural areas to the urban centers.
Yeah.
There's no development in the rural areas. There's no development at the grassroots. And then you see the cities are choked. The cities are bursting at the seams. Right. And there is no development going on. So let the federal government, I hope the Supreme Court will rule, will accept the relief sought by the federal government so that states can be forced to hold local government elections and they can be forced to dissolve those state joint local government accounts and let the local governments
and for all time.
Yes, let the local governments carry out that function. Look at in UK. You see the councils. Do you know councils even build? You have council flats.
Yeah, that's it.
Where many Nigerians stay. Many of these politicians stay in those council flats. But go and check. No local government. Local governments cannot even build shops. Not to talk of high-rise flats. Why? I look forward to the day
they are bereft of.
I believe in my time that the local government will work and there will be prosperity at the grassroots.
Emeka, we must apply the brakes here. But let me say that you are the interviewer's delight. Thank you.
Thank you very much
for your time.
Thank you so much.
So let the debate continue in your part of town. The federal government has gone to the Supreme Court for remedy, and this is having to do with autonomy for local governments. Is it right time? Is it wrong time? Ours is to mold opinion and allow the decision makers to take heed. I'm out of here until the next time. Until then, on behalf of the Backroom Boys, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein, saying bye-bye now. Take care. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.